And hello everybody, Golden Era Gaming here. I was watching the whole effing show the other day, and they had a discussion about what their favorite matches was. So I thought I'd use their idea and kind of run with it. I'm not going to show any real footage, however, because I don't want to get in trouble. But I can recreate it in video games. So without further ado, let's get into some honorable mentions. The first one, as you already see on your screen, is Ric Flair versus HBK, the retirement match. I thought it was a great match. Fantastic match. Mr. WrestleMania did it again. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Um, a lot of memorable spots in this one, and just a really good match. The I love you and I'm sorry super kick, great stuff. Uh, Amazing match. And the next honorable mention is Tiger Mask versus Dynamite Kid. Fantastic work by these two men. These matches actually took place in the 70s, and they could honestly be confused for matches that happen nowadays. Um, the stuff they did is mind blowing for being in that era. Dynamite Kid ended up inspiring many, such as Dan O'Brien and countless others. Tiger Mask also inspired many. Just two amazingly great performers, and I can't say enough about them. Definitely check out their matches. Pick one, whichever one you think is the best, because they're all really good. Next up is Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania, the Iron Man match. Classic match. Next honorable mention goes to Samoa Joe versus Christopher Daniels versus AJ Styles from Unbreakable '05. There's really not much I can say, and there's not much I can show you in the form of WWE 2K14. You have to watch this match. It is absolutely amazing, the stuff that they were able to pull off together, the stuff they were able to make work. Amazing match. Amazing match. Honorable mention to Rob Van Dam versus Jerry Lynn. These two had an amazing feud, a classic rivalry with Rob Van Dam being the whole effing show and Jerry Lynn claiming to be the new effing show. Fantastic matches, legendary hardcore spots that we may never see again, and overall just a very great match with great build. If I had to pick one for my favorite, I'd probably say Living Dangerously. But I also think the one from Hardcore Heaven was really good. Basically, whichever one doesn't have the Rhino running, that's the one I liked. Unfortunately, the music isn't the same as it used to be, so the entrances don't have the same flair if you're watching on the WWE Network. But still, classic rivalry, incredible matches. You will not be disappointed, especially if you're into hardcore stuff with the chairs and the tables and all of that. Honorable mention to Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat from WrestleMania 3. This match gets credited with creating the wrestling style we see to this day. I will say that it's the oldest that I've seen. The multiple pin attempts. I believe this match had something crazy like 20 pin attempts. Just a definite classic. Time for the actual countdown now. At number 10, CM Punk versus John Cena, Money in the Bank 2011. What is there to say about this match? The build-up was great. It being in Chicago, CM Punk being the homeboy from Chicago was great. As a Chicagoan, I love this match. The story that unfolded in this match was great, amazing, and it comes in at my number 10. At number 9, we have Bret Hart versus Owen Hart in a steel cage match. Now, what separates this match from other steel cage matches is that this one felt more real. As soon as the bell rings, Owen starts to climb the cage, and Bret does as well. Because if you know steel cage rules, they state first person to leave the cage wins. So why wouldn't you try to leave the cage? The thing about that, however, is that it leads to a lot of big falls. Basically, the entire match is just it's just both of these guys falling off of the cage over and over and over again. Definitely takes a toll on their body, and if it doesn't, then they act it well. There's a top rope Russian leg sweep. There's a off of the cage superplex. And if you think about the spots that they're doing and how far they're falling off the ground, really make it a special match to watch. At number 8, we have Tomohiro Ishii versus Katsuyori Shibata from the G1 Climax. There's not much to say about this match. It's just two tough guys having a pissing contest. They beat the crap out of each other. If you're watching your screen right now, this is literally how the match begins. Forearm after forearm after forearm. Great match. At number 7, we have Los Gringos Locos versus El Hijo del Santo and Octagon. Holy mark out moment for me as an adult watching this back. It brought me memories of my childhood and watching Televisa and Univision and watching Octagon and Hijo del Santo and Conan and things of that sort. Los Gringos Locos consist of Art Barr, rest in peace, and Eddie Guerrero. And of course, Eddie would find huge success here in the States portraying a Mexican American who lies, cheats, and steals. But here in Mexico, he was portraying a white person, a gringo, and he was a heel. So it's definitely contrasts how far Eddie came in his acting abilities and his portrayal of his character. Because in one country he was a heel and a white person, and then when he came to the States, he was a face, but he was viewed as a Mexican. Or Latino at least, definitely in WCW. So it's weird that there's that separation, but at the same time, it's beautiful to watch such a fantastic match. The crowd in Mexico is buying it. They're going crazy over their Mexican team trying to defeat the American team. It's great. Rest in peace, Eddie Guerrero. In at number 6, we got the Nature Bar, Ric Flair versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, in an absolute clinic of storytelling. You do not have to know the story of this match to know who the bad guy is and know who the good guy is just by the way the match is played out. Amazing, fast paced. Jim Ross would say they were going 100 miles per hour. Great match. I got tired just watching it. Chi-Town Rumble, Flair, Steamboat. Watch the entrances if you can, because even that adds to the match. Flair does his whole womanizer shtick, and Steamboat is such a baby face. It's a great, great, great match. In at number 5 of my personal favorites is Naomichi Marufuji versus Kenta from October 10th, 2008, Autumn Navigation Tour. This match saw the HAPW Junior Champion Naomichi Marufuji put his championship on the line against the GHC Noah Junior Champion at the time, which was Kenta. I'm not sure that they may have been heavyweight champions, but I think they were both still juniors at this time. And the match is amazing. If you know these two, they have had a feud since like, I don't know, maybe 06, 05 or so. And even since before then, because they trained in the same dojo under the same tutelage of Mitsuharu Misawa and Kenta Kobashi. Excuse me. And this match is just amazing. They go a long, long time doing amazing spots. I personally think it's a classic, and I have it as my 5th favorite match of all time. Definitely give it a watch if you have the time. At my number 4, just hear this pop. Hear the fans. That is how the fans sounded in New York for this one. Samoa Joe and Kenta Kobashi is an absolute classic in my opinion. My 4th favorite match of all time. These two guys beat the holy hell out of each other for our entertainment. And whether it's fake or not, whether they're really hitting each other or not, I don't give a shit. This match looks like they're legit beating the crap out of each other. And for that reason, it is my 4th favorite match of all time. Definitely blurs the line between reality and fake. Brilliantly done. Just looks like an all-out war. Feels like an all-out war. You have, as far as the build is concerned, this is Kenta Kobashi's first match in the United States. I think it may be one of his only ones. And the fans in the arena are all huge fans of his. so they go batshit insane as soon as he shows up. The hype levels are through the roof. And then Samoa Joe grows up being a fan of the Four Corners of Heaven of AJPW in the 90s. So he does all of these moves that would be from AJPW stars of the 90s, from Japanese stars of the 90s. And it becomes this amazing match of like the past versus the future and the present, and America and versus Japan in American soil. And it's just amazing. But even though it's like America versus Japan, it's not really like that because Kobashi's a face and everybody knows that he's an amazing wrestler. He just so happens to be from another country. So there really is no bad guy, there's no good guy. It's just two guys beating the holy hell out of each other for history, for the pro wrestling business, and just it's amazing. You know what I mean? Joe gets dumped on his head so many times, and then he returns the favor with the Muscle Buster, which dumps Kobashi right on his dome. It's just an amazing match. Joe's chest is bright red and bleeding by the end of it. I definitely recommend it if you haven't seen it. It comes in at number 4 of my favorite matches of all time. Just listen. Just listen.
王道プロレスの守り手デンジャラス K 川田俊明が入場してまいります。超世代軍を率いるエルボーの貴公子三沢光晴が入ってまいります。
At number 3, Misawa Kawada, 94. My number 2 greatest match of all time is Misawa Kobashi versus Kawada and Taue from June of 95. An amazing match. The build, of course, is that Misawa and Kawada have hated each other for quite some time. I believe they used to be tag team partners in the early 90s. And this match is one of those that is best enjoyed if you've watched all of the matches in their feud. The same goes for Misawa Kawada 94. Kobashi and Taue in this one as well, which completes the Four Corners of Heaven. And they were not called the Four Corners of Heaven or the Four Pillars of Heaven without reason. These four men together were magic. The stuff they put their bodies through for our entertainment, and the stuff they did was magic. You know what I mean? Compassion, friendship, fighting spirit, determination. Anything you can think of was expressed in these matches. Fear, hate, love, everything. It was in this match. It's an amazing match, and it comes in at my number 2. If you haven't watched it, do yourself a favor. And unfortunately, of course, as always, rest in peace, Mitsuharu Misawa. My personal pick for the best to ever do it. And my number 1 favorite match of all time is Blood Generation versus Do Fixer from Super Card of Honor. This is my top 10 personal favorite. And this was the first Ring of Honor show I ever went to. The first live pro wrestling show I ever went to by myself as an adult. And I believe I was third row for this. And it was on WrestleMania weekend as well. And I had no idea what to expect. And these guys just put it on. Amazing action from start to finish. If you haven't watched it, again, highly recommended. Thank you for watching. V for Victory. And peace.